Now, I've never been a jealous person, but there's one thing that I have always been jealous of, and that is people with a clear idea of what they want to be. And today's guest, Josh Dunson, is one of those people. I've known Josh since I was 16 or 17. He's a couple years younger than I am. We met at a church youth group, singing in the choir. He was playing drums, and it was obvious back then that he knew what he wanted and that he was going to pursue it and that he was going to make it happen. Now, fast forward 15, 16, 17 years, he did it. He has built a career as a producer, as a musician, and it is awesome to watch and it's awesome to talk about. He and I recently reconnected. This is our first conversation in legitimately 15 plus years. So we hopped on, we talked about, what we've been up to. We talked about marriage and fatherhood. We talked about pursuing dreams. He gets into the story about his plan B falling through and plan A becoming the only option and him making it happen and him becoming a full-time musician and achieving that goal. So really cool conversation. Really hope you enjoy it. I'm Zach Van Nuss, and this is Grinding to a Halt.
It's great to see you, man. It,
Man,
it's crazy to think that it has been legitimately like 15, 16, maybe 17
that
years.
is crazy. Like you're
Because
you're aging me right now.
I think when we met, you may have been 15 or
Yeah, I
16.
was 15. I was
Yeah,
15.
because I was
Yeah.
like 17 or 18. So,
Mm-hmm. Bro,
dude,
do you still have that badass tattoo
which
of
one?
Jack Skellington?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's been a staple in my house. I just would like you to know.
So is your daughter into it?
Yes.
She loves it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where she actually has a zero doll. She has a Sally doll. We didn't get Jack, but she likes to watch Jack almost every day.
That's great. How old's your daughter now?
She's 3.
She's 3. So
Yeah.
my kids are 12 and 8 because I got married at 19 and just started having
Wow.
kids.
Man, how
So
is that? Like marriage at 19? I did
it,
27. I'm like, what?
illegal. It should be
It
illegal.
should.
Yeah, your brain's not done cooking yet. Like, and I'm sure we'll get into this, but that is very much like Southern Christian culture is you get
Yeah.
married at 19 because you're an adult now and this
There's
is
no
just what
way.
this is what you do next. There's a reason a lot of the people I know that were getting married the same time we are now on their second or third marriage because
Jesus.
you're really not ready yet. You don't know
No.
who you are, which is the
No.
most important part. Like the person I am now and the person my wife is now is so different than the people we were when we met because we hadn't even worked through our issues yet. We were too young to know what our issues were.
Exactly. Like I'm saying the same thing when I was at 27. Like I'm like we're like let's see. This will be 6 in October for
Mhm.
us and I'm just kind of like we're just now figuring out what our zen is. Like we just figured out how to say woosah, you know?
Well, and it changes like every couple years because I think as a person, if you're not constantly evolving and like finding new aspects of yourself and exploring new aspects of
Yeah,
yourself, then you're essentially dead. You're stagnant at that point. But like
completely.
you take that into a marriage of the things that are important to me now weren't important to me a couple years ago. Like there was a time when everything I was doing was like, there's a dollar amount and I want to make that dollar amount because I didn't
Yeah,
have
like
money
you
growing up. I have a
as the man you're
family.
supposed to provide. So it's like, oh, I'm supposed to work, 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 work. It's like now I'm kind of just like, yeah, it's not worth it.
No, it's not
I'll
because
stay
like
home.
it it takes away from being the husband and father I want to be and that I can be if all
Exactly.
I'm focused on is how much money can I make. How
Yes.
successful can I be? And to me, that viewpoint of success is so far from anything I hold dear as actual success. Success to me is that my 12-year-old still feels comfortable calling me daddy. Like
Exactly. That's
if
success.
if he walks in the room and he needs something, it's like, hey, daddy, can I have this? I'm like, of course. Like that's
Right.
success. Like he
Right.
still feels like he can approach me and we can
And
have a
be comfortable.
conversation. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's success. The rest of the stuff is bullshit. Don't
Complete.
matter.
Complete.
But I was gonna say my daughter's been obsessed with like Stitch.
Oh, okay.
Everything Stitch all the
wow.
time. But hadn't seen the movie. It was about the
What?
character for her. She
Okay.
wanted everything the character. And then we're like, there's movies around this, right? Like you could watch Stitch too. And she's like, yeah, not interested. I just
Wow.
want the characters.
Yeah, I tried to do so. I randomly, I don't know why this happens, but randomly I start singing Blues Clues songs. So it's like I'll
because it's ingrained,
just,
dude. It's
exactly.
just in there.
So I got some mail and I was like, we just got a letter. We just got a letter. And my daughter's like, sing it again. And I was like, okay. I sung it again. And then I was like, well, do you want to watch it? I instantly put on Steve Blues Clues and she was like, nah. It's like, wait, you were just interested in the song.
Nope, she got the piece out of it that she liked. And that's
exactly.
It's so funny, like seeing the things kids are interested in and like the stuff that holds their attention. But also, like, I want them to like the things I like, but I don't want to like push it on them and make them not like it.
Exactly.
Because like I'm still at heart, I'm like a scene kid, and I'm gonna be listening to metal all day long. Like that's never gonna change. And so like I want my kids to like it too, because that's what I listen to in the car.
Right.
And so there's some stuff they'll be like, "Can you please turn this off?" And then other times it'll hit. Like my son really likes the band Architects. So like if there's an Architects song on, he's like, "Oh no, I like this." So,
my daughter likes Nirvana's the hello. She says, I want to listen to the hello song. So that's the only rock song I got her to like. Other than that, it's just like, no, I want to listen to Gracie's Corner. Gracie's Corner, please. It's like, all right.
We skipped over. There weren't really many like kids songs that my kids were into and listened to.
Okay.
I just made sure if you were in the car with me, you were listening to what I like, and like we'll do that.
You are a great parent. You are a great parent because I haven't mastered that. I need to know your wisdom.
It's just I never gave them the option, so they just acclimated.
Got you.
Yeah, but I do like try to explore other things they're into. Like I still listen to a decent amount of pop music, but it's like still like alternative type pop music.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to listen to the new Taylor Swift album with my kids, but like when the new Charlie XCX album comes out, we will absolutely be blasting some hyperpop in the car.
So of course.
One of my first memories of you is on the Lake Placid trip.
Oh wow.
When you were playing drums, and I think you had just gotten, or you were just trying to figure out like how to play double bass. You had just gotten a second kick. And so like in between,
I remember that.
In between setups or in between songs, you would just start blasting double bass.
Slick. Oh my goodness.
Because I mean, Josh Pipes was on the trip, so he was definitely trying to get you to listen to Between the Buried and Me. Because
shout out
Josh.
As I Lay Dying, August Burns Red,
and Haste the Day. I remember
Haste the Day,
Chorus of Angels by Haste the Day, and you being like, man, this kick pattern is sick. And then just like, all right, I'm gonna play this kick pattern now in between songs.
I remember it was like what was it, System of a Down all day.
Oh yeah,
all day.
Yeah,
I remember I think my fondest memory of you was one time we were in the chorus area. I guess we were practicing for a song, and I was leaning back in my chair, and I lost my balance and I fell, and it's like everything stopped. But the thing that came out of my mouth was Jesus. And you go, what about him? I was like, he's great.
Hey, we were in church. You got to be careful, all right? Some people
Right.
might say that, hey, you may have been taking his name in vain, This is that's so funny. Those are some good times. Those are some good times.
Yeah.
Um, but you stuck with it. Like you pursued music. You did the thing
I
that
did.
that
I did. I
everybody
don't
talked
play
about.
drums. Right. I don't play drums as much as I used to.
Mhm.
For me now it's more about keys and production.
Yeah.
I ended up mastering keys. I ended up like figuring out how to like do music.
Mhm.
At this point, I'm a Stellar nominated producer. I've worked with a whole lot of people that I wouldn't even fathom. Like just being back at Lake Placid, I was just like, I was just grateful to just be in New York playing drums, to
Yeah.
be honest, or going to Tennessee or going to any of the places that we went to. Um, it was really like an exposure for me. It exposed me to knowing how to do or how to like react in those kind of situations. So now
Mhm.
when I see famous people, it's just like it's a normal purpose, a normal person, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, oh my gosh, I was just listening to you on the radio and now I'm listening to I'm talking to you face to face. How are you? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like I actually have like famous gospel artists on my phone.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't bother them, but like if they need me,
But
they
they're in
call.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're in there. It's huge flex, but
It's always nice to have one or two where you can pull it up and be like, yeah, I know them. You know, it is what it is.
yeah, he's cool.
No big deal. Yeah, we talk
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, it's one of those, one of those. But like, yeah, it's just been an amazing journey. I'm still trying to figure out how to, I guess, instead of put other people's music out, my own music out.
Yeah.
And not just about like instrumentals. Like I have like certain songs that I want to like, just put out there. And I think the last album I put out was Letters to My Wife. It
Mhm.
was like a 2-song EP, and I plan on doing like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. It's just like certain love songs that I can't say it to anybody else. So
Yeah. I dig it. But for you, like anytime we would talk back then, like it was always just like, yeah, I'm gonna play music. Like that was
yep,
always the goal. Was there
that
ever
was
a
the goal.
plan B, or was it singular focus on I'm gonna make this happen?
Yeah, I had a plan B, but it never really worked out. My plan B was being an engineer.
Mhm.
Um, it was being like one of those, I guess, civil engineers. I was really good at drawing back then, so anytime I could draw something, but then I went to college for music and there was an art division. So I was like, okay, let's see if I can get this plan B so I can major in music and then minor
Mhm.
in art. And so that way I can still be a civil engineer. And the teacher was like, you suck at all things drawing. I don't think this is a good fit for you.
Love it. I love that
Yeah.
your plan B was shut down. So plan A was the only option
That
left.
was the only option. The only option. So it's been real good. I'm great. I don't know if you remember Patrick.
Which one?
Gosh, I can't remember. His brother's name was Jonathan.
Oh, Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that he took time in 6th grade to be like, hey, you're doing too much. Come over here, learn this soundboard, because that's literally like what I do almost every Sunday, like the
Mhm.
soundboard at church. I actually do the live stream mix because live streaming is like so important for
Yeah.
everybody to see your stuff online now. So
Yep.
it's crazy. But other than that, I mean, music, I work for myself. I'm able to be at home with my family whenever I choose to. And
Yeah.
that's the best thing ever.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. A couple years ago, because I've been in marketing for 12 years. And so like
Wow.
and everything from like startups where we're struggling to keep clients. And then, I mean, you're in Atlanta, so Jim Ellis Automotive, like I was in-house marketing manager for them, like managing
Wow.
all digital marketing for all 21 of their stores.
Good
So like
gracious.
done a little bit of everything, but then there was this shift right as COVID happened and we started working from home. And then when offices opened back up, I was like, no, I don't want to go back in office. I
What's the
was
point of going back? I just learned how to do it at home.
yeah. Oh, and I was commuting an hour and a half each way.
Oh God.
So like 3 hours of my day. So like I was never home when my kids got up. There were days
Ah,
when I would get home and it would be like, all right, 15 minutes and now they got to go to bed. So like I knew
yeah.
I couldn't go back to what it was before and I couldn't go back to being the dad that wasn't at home.
Yeah.
And there was a big shift for me of, going back to talking about just chasing, oh, there's a dollar amount. If I hit that dollar amount, my life will be better. And yeah, I was making great money, but I was never home. So then, like, once I was home, I'm like, no, I will take a pay cut to be home.
Exactly.
Like, this
Exactly.
is so much better.
And it's crazy that that pay cut actually makes you more money.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I had to realize. So when I guess when I first got married and we were getting ready to have Janae, um, I was in the studio like every day. Every day I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I have to be in here because then somebody would potentially, pick up a session and then we're making money. But I didn't realize I was wasting more money driving there
Mm-hmm.
and potentially not getting the session and then
Yeah.
coming back, not being home. And then finally, I think Janae was like 1.5. And I was just like, forget it, bro. I'm just gonna stay home and see what that does for me. And I actually
Mm-hmm.
made more money staying at home than I did going out and just trying to chase the dollar. And
Yeah.
I think that's like a huge thing for men to actually realize that you don't need to chase the dollar. It'll just come to you because like currency flows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's when you realign your priorities and you find things that actually matter, you find ways to make them sustainable. So yeah, I
yeah,
could have stayed at that other job and I could have made X amount. But if I stay home, I will find ways to make the amount of money we need. I'll make sure we have health
right.
insurance. And then, side hustle, pick up some other stuff. Like find ways to do things in that time that I was wasting driving for 3 hours a day. I just
Yeah,
got 3 hours a day back. Like
exactly.
it's a
So,
massive amount of time.
bro, man, now I'm trying to see how I can make like live streaming profitable. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like, but I have to be here at a specific time and do a
Yeah.
specific amount of hours. And I'm like, I don't want to do it.
um, I do want to get to kind of what started this conversation was you just replied to something I had posted saying you missed me, but I had seen a video you posted about
Okay.
creativity and
Yeah.
what holds people back in creativity and pursuing things. And you are an example of a person who creativity was the goal. You
Yeah.
pursued that goal.
Yeah.
You every day you are achieving that goal because success is not a destination. Success is a
It's
journey.
not.
It is
Yeah.
all day, every day, and it will also change. Because
Hmm.
hey, like you said, you want to shift from producing other people's music to you want to put out your own.
Exactly. So
That
that's
that's a
like a new,
complete shift.
it's like starting all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it is. So, yeah. So I was watching somebody's video and like I watched like a series. Anytime I try to do a video, I watch like a series of videos just so I can
Yeah.
gather my thoughts. And he was really just talking about how, because at first I was really going to talk about how social media is the killer. Every time
Mm-hmm.
you get on social media, you scroll, 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 and then you never get the video done. But
Mm-hmm.
really, it's overthinking it. Like
Yeah.
when you want to raise your hand, you just raise your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say, okay, I have to put it in the right motion. All right, now we're going to lift it up and then now we're going to go to the left. You
Yeah.
just do it. And so that's how creativity should be. Like if I want to do a rhythm or a pattern on the drums, I just do it. The
Mm-hmm.
moment I overthink it is the moment that I can't do it.
Yeah.
And that's really what you can unlock when you start just waking up and doing the thing that you feel like that's your purpose or what you're called to or just what you want to do. Like you have a podcast. It wasn't one of those things like, oh, I don't know if I should start. You just started.
Mm-hmm.
You found people that were interested in your life. You sent them an invitation and you did it.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of creativity.
Yeah. For me, it is because my job, and I think people think marketing is like this thing where you're creative all day long. My job is spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, those are
anything.
numbers.
Yeah,
God.
it's a numbers game. I look at
If
data
there's
all day long.
anything that I suck at, it's marketing because that's a numbers game. That's like, okay, we're no longer using this side of the brain. We're using this side. All right.
Yeah. So for me, it's wholly unfulfilling. I'm good at it. I'm really good at masking. So like, doesn't matter what's going on when I hop on that client call, they fucking love me.
Yeah.
I am all energy. I'm all excitement. I could be the most depressed state I will ever be in, and I can jump on a call and everybody has a great time. Like I'm good at just turning that on.
Yeah.
And I mean, you were around me for years in person. You know, like if there's people around, I feel the need to be the life of the party. Like I'm going to keep everybody happy. Everybody's joking. That's just kind of a default for me. So for me, it works. But as far as creative fulfillment, nothing leaves me completely empty. So for me, as much as this isn't me creating something new, I find such creativity in just having conversations that don't have to have a purpose or a destination, but it is just a flowing conversation of, hey, I'll start with a topic, but we're going to go wherever it goes.
Exactly.
And there's an art to just leading a conversation and having it feel natural and having it be fun. And then if people listen, great. If people don't, I still got what I needed out of it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's been my approach.
And doing it for you. I think that's another thing that'll kill all creativity when you do it for someone else.
Yeah.
Like point in case, I used to whenever I would drum, I used to do it for the thought of somebody saying you're the best at it.
Yeah.
Like that's all I would drum for. Like I wouldn't even try to get better. I wouldn't practice on purpose because I like the fact that people saying, oh, you just got it off rip. Like whenever I would get the song, it was just like, oh, that's a cool kick pattern. Let's just put it in there. Never practiced it before a day in my life. And you're awesome. So
you're such a natural.
Right. Yeah. One day I met a 7-year-old kid. I still know this kid till this day. He's like 19 now, has a kid. But I met this kid and I showed him I could play drums. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. I play drums too. And then completely destroys me. Completely destroys me. And I'm like, I never want to play drums again. Because I was looking for the, oh, you're awesome, not you need work. And so that's okay. Go ahead.
You wanted the affirmation for it, not the fulfillment from the process of doing it.
Exactly.
Which is, and I know you said like your video wasn't about, social media is a creativity killer, but I do believe social media can steer us in the wrong direction when we're being creative. It's not necessarily going to be the thing that stops us, but it can absolutely make us divert from the path. Because like you said, when you're starting to create a video, you're like, well, let me see what other people are talking about or how they're setting up their shot. What kind of edits are they doing? Because there is a trend that you need to follow. And that makes sense. I work in marketing, so I understand, hey, here's what's popular right now. We do need to play within this sandbox. And so you need to be aware of what's going on. But sometimes you go down that rabbit hole of like, well, I'll never be able to do it the way they do, or their camera is clear. I don't have an 8K camera, or like, I don't have a lighting rig. And like, oh, I have a $200 microphone. They have a $2,000 microphone. And so we like find ways to delay the actual work because we think we don't have the things we need yet to accomplish what we want. And you have the idea.
Yeah.
If the quality's not there yet, that's fine. Like, who cares?
It took me a minute to get this camera. It took me a long time. I promise you, I've been doing YouTube since 20. Actually, when I met you, I was doing YouTube. I had just started to do, but I was doing like dreadlock journeys. I wasn't really doing like music on there until like 2 or 3 years after I graduated. And then I had always planned to get a camera just like this. Always planned it, but it didn't happen until last year. Didn't happen until last year. Like I literally have, hold on one second. This was my streaming cam forever. This face cam was my streaming cam forever. I would have like another camera that was like 1080p that I would do on my YouTube videos, but streaming wise, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And I mean, it got me taken care of. Like, this isn't like a fancy mic. This is what, like $50? And it's not like I don't have fancy mics. I do, but I just love the quality of $50 being so great.
But also, I think the great thing about all the technology we have and that a $50 microphone could be great is that the barrier to entry is so low.
So
like,
low.
It used to be like, back in our day in high school, you could download Fruity Loops if you wanted to do something and like you'd be set. But now every computer comes fully installed with software. And if you have a laptop, you have a studio.
You really do. Like a MacBook comes with GarageBand. It's been coming with GarageBand since we could get a MacBook. Like, and the fact that now these kids don't even have to know piano. Like I had to take lessons to learn how music worked. These kids are like, oh, I'm just gonna click, click, click. Let's go to the next one. Let's do a couple of key commands. Song. Or I want SpongeBob to sing this song. Done. That's just how creativity is. I'm not saying like AI is like replacing us, but like that's how it is now. So I feel like we need to take advantage of it. To be honest, like there was one I saw the other day. It was a guy, he needed a female vocalist, but he didn't have the money for it. So he goes to AI to turn his voice into a female voice.
Yeah.
And it worked. It's like, wow, that's crazy.
It helps level the playing field for a lot of people.
It does.
There's, like I said, there's all those barriers to entry previously that no longer exist. And I hope that it helps foster more creativity and not people thinking they can cheat and just be like, oh, I'll just everything AI. Like I'll just, because that is it does reach a breaking point where it's just stealing from things that have already been created.
And of course, you do have those kind of people that are just like,
of course, they just want to cash in. But similar to you wanting the praise from playing drums and not the affirmation that comes from within of mastering the drums, that's what they're wanting out of it.
Exactly.
So they
just want to,
AI
you're doing great.
Yeah.
And I think that's a whole, don't mean to go like dark or anything, but I feel that's
go
a
for
whole,
it.
That's a whole like
there's some episodes of this show that get real dark, so everything's on the table.
But I feel like it's a whole mental health situation, like the needing to be praised or the needing to get the affirmation is something that we all desire, but we don't necessarily get. And so we get to the point to where we kind of feel like we have to get it from somewhere else. And we often sacrifice our talents in order to get that need. And I'm at the point to where now it's like I have to be happy within myself. I watched a video, and I know it didn't really have anything to do with like affirmations of like talents, but it was Will Smith, and he was talking to Jada Pinkett. I think the caption said, "I told Jada I'm done." This was way before the allegations of everything, but he was like, "I told Jada I'm done." And so of course I'm clicking, what? These were my super couple. I love them. I click it, and he was like, "I told Jada I'm done. Like, I just told her I'm done making her happy. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to make myself happy and you
Mhm.
make yourself happy. And that is how it's going to work. And that's how he did it. And I was like, okay. Cause I was at a point to where I was like, I don't think marriage is for me. Like, promise
Mhm.
you, I'm at 26. You got married at 19. I saw it on Facebook. A couple of like 10 or 15 of my friends got married at 19.
Yep.
I'm like, I didn't get married at 19. So I feel like I'm a failure at this
Mhm.
point. And so then I'm just like, well, guess marriage is just not into the cards. I'm gonna be a hoe. That's just what I'm gonna do. And
My lot in life.
yep, that's just what it is. Find me a girl and just shack up. That's just what I'm gonna do. And as I saw that video, and then I was just like, okay, I'm ready now. I'm
I
ready
think there's
now.
this idea that like marriage is this 50-50 thing, a 50% you and 50% me. But the point of two people coming together is that it's 200% because there's two whole people.
200. Yes.
Like you're supposed to be better together than you are apart. And so
Apart.
if you're lowering yourself, then you're not only cheapening what that relationship can be, you're hurting yourself in the long run, and it will breed resentment towards that other person because
Exactly.
your mind will start to tell you, I can't be or do the things I want because of this person. But it's all like this self-imposed stuff. Like you have to be yourself. There's times where I will finish my work day and I will come upstairs. And if my wife needs to talk about something, I'll be like, hey, I don't have the capacity for it right now. Like
See,
just
I love
where I'm
that.
at with my work day, like the stress I'm under, it's not that I don't care, it's that I can't talk about it because I can't take anything else on at this moment.
I love that. I watched a video of somebody saying that they were like, they were like, if I'm at 100% and my husband's at 50%,
Mm-hmm.
I just need him to tell me that he's at 50% so I can take the 150
Mm-hmm.
on. Like, just tell
Absolutely.
me, hey, it's too much for me right now with the kids. I just need like 20 minutes to woosah. Can you
Yeah.
take it? That's that teamwork
Mm-hmm.
aspect. But I feel like we see all these perfect scenarios on Facebook, perfect scenarios on Instagram
Yeah.
about how somebody just made a hack on how to potty train by putting a diaper on the toilet. You see what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute. That's not smart. That's not a hack. That's just
if,
being
if, any,
lazy at this
if
point.
anything, you're just like creating a fetish.
Right. But we feel like that's perfect. That's like a life hack. That's
Mhm.
perfect parenting. When
Yeah.
really perfect parenting is what you're already doing, but you just don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like going back to the point of the creativity, like the happiness within the joy of music, the happiness within the joy of creating, the happiness within the joy of parenting.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's that level. That's
Yeah.
that 100% that we should all strive to get to.
Yeah. It's and I feel like, and maybe it was different for you, but I always just assumed that as, and it's all like bullshit we're fed from media and being raised in the South and very conservative areas of like, no, like men don't talk about their feelings, or like you just power through and like
Oh
you
dear
do your
God.
job and then you come home and like you're the man. And I'm like, no, sometimes I need to cry too. Like
And
that's
that's
just, it
so
is what it is.
frowned upon. Like, oh my goodness. So I didn't think that that was a thing until I experienced it.
Mhm.
Like I'm going through like uh real life trauma kind of thing. It's one of those feeding into my own bullshit kind of things
Yeah.
where it's just like, oh, woe is me, why my life is sucks. It's not really good. I don't have good opportunities. I'm getting the
Mhm.
lowest pay. All that
Yeah.
stuff that you feed yourself, but I have nobody to talk to
Mhm.
but myself and the Lord Jesus Christ. So it's just like, who do I get this out to? Who do I not get this out to? And so my wife's like, hey, talk to me. I'm
Mhm.
right here. And I'm like, no, nah, it's not worth it. Nah. I
Mhm.
would always say that. Nah, it's not worth it. Or I'd be like, you ever feel like, nah, never mind.
Mhm.
One of those things. And then we just never talk about it. So then one day I really just blew up.
Mhm.
And she's like, these are the reasons why we need to talk about this so you don't blow up.
Yeah.
And so I had to get into the mode of, okay, let's talk about these things. Like, even if I'm frustrated, she'll be talking about one thing and I'll just completely interrupt and just go on a whole rant of why I don't like this, why I don't. And she realizes I just need to get it out.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing for her. Like, I could be in the middle of creating a good old song or playing the Nintendo Switch, and she'll be like, and I'll just be like, all right, let me put the game down.
Let's
Continue.
yeah, and for me it there's a very steep learning curve with it
Yeah.
because it's not something I knew how to do. It's not something I was honestly aware I could do.
Mm,
Like I was used to just if I was feeling things, you just bury those things. You don't talk about it. Like don't let people see your weaknesses and emotion equals weakness. Like
yes.
and so for me and it's still something we've been married for 15 years to this day that I struggle with of like
Jesus.
if I'm thinking things or feeling things, not knowing how to speak them. Like I know in my head what I'm feeling, and it can feel like I have a mouthful of sand and I can't get the words out.
Mm,
So like learning how to get over whatever that internal block is to let me just be honest about the things I'm feeling. Because I just did not do it for years
it's
because
it's
I
taking
wasn't
away
aware I
that
could.
it's taking away that mantra of I'm weak right now.
Mhm.
It's taking away that mantra of if I say this, she's going to look at me as I'm not her husband, or I'm
Mhm.
not the strong one, or my look is going to be diminished because I'm saying this,
Mhm.
or I won't get sexy time anymore, something like that. But
Yeah.
like, that's something that men think like,
Mhm.
oh, because I've said this, or because I'm trying to be honest, or because I'm at a moment where I just really can't take it. And you won't think of me the same. And
Mhm.
actually is the opposite. Like,
Exactly.
I'm at, I grew up like not the affectionate type. So
Mhm.
hugs were strange to me. Like, I'll have a whole irritated moment and then I'll just be, after I got it down, I'm Husa. I feel better now. And
Mhm.
then I want to walk away and she goes, no, we hug it out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Get off of me.
Yeah, I could not relate to you more in that. Like physical touch for me is something that I struggle with. Like I don't want people touching me, and especially if I'm irritated or like if I'm working through
Yeah.
something, it's like, nah, I need my space. I have to figure
Hmm.
this out. Even if it's something we've already talked about.
Right.
My instinct is not to, all right, now we got to hug.
It's like, oh, we talked about it. We
Yeah.
figured it out. We solved it. Now I'm going to my corner. You're going to your corner. No, for her, it's like, because her love language is physical touch. So for her,
Mhm.
it's like, we have to confirm it. Either we confirm it with a hug, or I'm pouncing on you tonight. And it's just like, but I want to go to sleep.
For her, that's the period to the conversation.
Yeah,
It's
that's the end of
it's
it.
open ended until that
Hmm.
happens.
Yeah, like, we didn't solve this until we consummate. We have to consummate the marriage. This shall be done.
That's so funny. Uh, I think that leads into a good segue about being fathers because, like, for me,
Mm.
it's important that my kids know that I'm not right about everything and that I'm wrong and that I'm still
Wow, that's
figuring
good.
life out, or that
That is
like
good.
something I talk to people about a lot is like I felt like growing up I was a product of my parents and not a
Mm-hmm.
person created by my parents. And like
Mm.
it's so important to me that my kids be treated like people and not products. I do not own them
Yeah.
in any way. I'm responsible for them right now, but I won't be forever. Like they have to be their own people. And so the way we talk to them and the way we parent them is as though they are equals in the relationship because they are. Like
Wow.
they get just as much say in how they're parented as in the way I parent them. Yeah, there's stuff they don't know yet and that we have to help with. I can't let my daughter eat cotton candy all day long. She's 8. She would do that. So like there's things like that. But as far as like the types of words we use or things that are effective in
Yeah.
helping them understand the point we're trying to get across, it has to be a conversation. It can't be a directive.
Mm.
And I feel like that's such a stark difference from the way a lot of people were raised, and it's something generationally I'm seeing more and more people where like, no, I talk to my kids like humans. Like they're
Right.
humans, obviously. And that's not something I ever experienced. It was always just like, now you do this. And I was like, oh, okay. I do that now. And it's a conversation with my kids. It's so
Right.
much
Like,
different.
I
And
think my thing was like, I want her to know why she's being disciplined.
Mhm.
I just don't want to like, you did this wrong.
Yeah.
Bang. You know, and it's having that dialogue that I guess I wasn't, some stuff I was, but some stuff I
Mhm.
wasn't fortunate to have that conversation. It was just like, no,
Yeah.
just don't do it. It's because I told you to. It's like one of
Mhm.
those don't have sex before marriage. Why? Abstinence is good. That's why. Well, why? A- Pregnancy.
Yeah.
Why? And
Yeah.
it's really like they're not telling you that there is a blend between soul ties when you do that.
Mhm.
But we just hear abstinence and we hear pregnancy and we're like, never happened to me kind of thing. And or
Mhm.
we hear the death stroke of blue waffles and STDs and we're like, oh God. But but it's really about like the soul ties. Like that tends to go on with everything that you do. And like you're not fortunate enough to like let that go. It's like you'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, why do I still feel like how this person feels when
Mhm.
really it's a soul tie because you're still connected. And it's one of those things is like only God himself can help you through that.
You said it's about explaining the reasoning behind something and not just, well, this is the rule.
Right.
A blanket rule, especially to a child or a hormonal teenager, means nothing.
Nothing
You
like
already have impulse control issues. So
like like you know me. I don't follow the rules at all. What rule have I ever fallen? Let's just ask ourselves that. Like I'm the kind of person who, okay, I've got the rule. I learned the rule. How can I bend the rule?
Mhm.
That's me. And so I know that a product of me or a person of me is going to think the same way. And
Mhm.
I notice that my daughter does that all the time. I'll show her one thing and then she'll go, okay, well, how can I improve this?
Yeah.
How can I do this a different way? Like I told her, hey, you can sit in the chair. Okay, well, how about I stand in the chair and see how he gets a better view? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't really follow the rules. And it's not like a bad thing. She's just trying to explore and see what this does and what this
Yeah.
doesn't do. So I shouldn't like say, oh no, you shouldn't explore because I explored. Why should
Mhm.
I ruin her from that possibility of ever getting the exploration? I want her
Mhm.
to explore, but I want her to do it safely so she
Yeah.
doesn't injure herself.
But also, if you hadn't explored, you wouldn't be where you are today. Like
Exactly.
that desire within you to see where the bounds are and to see how far you can push things. If you would have just been like, oh, the rules are graduate high school, go to college, get a job with a steady paycheck and a 401k. Like
Right.
pursuing creativity is pushing the bounds because there
Mm,
is no safety net. We don't live in a country where if you don't have a job, you still get healthcare. Like there are things set in place to try to keep us on very specific tracks.
right. Right.
And like it's great when a kid doesn't feel like they're pushed into only following all the rules all the time. I want my kids to
Exactly.
explore. I want them to pursue the things they want to pursue. even if I don't understand it, because let's be real, I'm not going to understand it. It
No,
there were probably plenty of conversations with your parents where they were like, but why are you doing this? Like, why are you
exactly.
pursuing the thing
Oh
you're
my
pursuing?
God. So many conversations of why don't you go back into school? Well,
Mhm.
mom, they lost their accreditation. That's why I'm not going back to
That-
school. But why aren't you going back to school?
yeah.
Well, mom, I just don't, or like now I've already graduated and she still wants me to go back to further my education. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm not trying to waste all that money.
Yeah.
I'm at the point to where now it's just like I'm trying to build on what I already have, not necessarily lose all the money. Let me
Mhm.
get to Pharrell status and then I'll go back to school, kind of thing. But
Not get that
yeah, I'm
honorary
pretty
doctorate.
sure
You just have to do enough that they give you an honorary doctorate. You're good to go.
exactly. And then I'm kind of at there's plenty of conversations that I have with my daughter at
Mhm.
3 years old that I'm like, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. She's like, like just today, Daddy, I have to get the gingerbread. The gingerbread? What gingerbread? The gingerbread on the TV. What's the the gingerbread with pink fong? Oh, I get it now. It's like it took 3 times for you to tell me it was pink fong.
And then one day it's going to be a creative or career pursuit that conversation will be around. And you'll just be like, I don't get it. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
But if you're
exactly.
doing your job as a parent, you'll know that you raised them in a way that they're not making a
Raise them
decision that
right.
will hurt them,
Exactly.
whether or not you
I think
understand the
that's
decision.
I think that's what's hard as parents is trusting that you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Like I think me and my wife's biggest fear now is her going to school. But Janae makes friends with anybody.
Mhm.
I don't have we can go to the park today and she'd be like, "Hi, my name is Janae. Come on, let's go play." Like, do
Yeah.
they even have a choice?
No.
It's like, but she's really at the point to where like when she goes to school, I know there won't be a problem.
Mhm.
She's real smart. She knows how to count all the way to 12. We get a little lost between 13 and 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she knows how to count all the way to 12. She knows her ABCs. I I don't have any regrets or anything. Like we raised her the way we needed to raise her. She was on Veggie Tales on Sundays. Like the thing about my daughter, so when she was first born, we raised her on Looney Tunes. And the only thing that she really liked was Bugs Bunny cartoons. So we stuck with Bugs Bunny cartoons. And then my wife decided, hey, let's go to Disney now. So then she goes to oh, sorry, Bugs Bunny and Blackbird to put her to sleep.
Mhm.
That's what we had stuck with. And then she says, "Oh, let's go to Tarzan." And this is while I'm gone. So I wasn't in any part of it. I come back and my daughter is a full-blown Tarzan fanatic. And this is at like 8 months all the way up to 2 years old. Nothing but Tarzan, 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 Tarzan. I mean, I don't know how many uh car rides that I've listened to the whole entire Phil Collins soundtrack. I'm not complaining because Phil
At least it's
Collins
a good
bodied
one.
that.
It's so
Yeah,
good.
he bodied that. Good God. But I know every word. I know all the sounds. I know exactly what's going to come up, what song comes with what scene, everything. And then one day she goes, Encanto. Encanto. But we were doing good with Tarzan. Like we're 2 years strong. No, Encanto, Daddy. So now it's Encanto. Then from Encanto, we go to Frozen. Then from Frozen, we go to she tried to watch Wish. Wish didn't happen. Um,
Same at
I'm
my
trying to
house.
think.
No one here was.
Right.
Everybody was like, "Nah, that's a pass. That's a
Yeah.
nah."
We got to like the first scene and we were just like, nope. Now she's on Octonauts
Mm-hmm.
and what's that? Gabby's Dollhouse.
Yeah.
So I'm just and Super Kitties. Can't forget the Super Kitties. It's just I find myself in the middle of the day just walking around going Super Kitties. It's like, oh wow, that's a good jingle.
Is it helpful because those songs are built to be earworms? So as a person who's thinking musically and thinking production, thinking songwriting, as you're hearing those, like yeah, you went from Phil Collins, which is that's peak movie soundtrack. Encanto's still pretty good. There's a Lin-Manuel, I have my
Oh yeah.
issues with him, but there's a
Yeah.
couple songs on there that are just
Same. I
bangers.
feel like he does the same rap in every single movie that he's in. I did not like him as Sebastian. I'm sorry. Um, I he was good in Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's
But no,
it.
he's very much listening to this triplet flow. That's it.
He figured out the triplet flow and capitalized it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Good.
Migos. It's not going to
Good.
happen for you.
So good for him. But does it help you like hearing all those songs because those are built to be as catchy as possible? So is
It
that
actually does. I've been getting into sync licensing
Mhm.
recently. And for anybody watching who doesn't know what sync licensing is, it's basically about like getting your music into movies, TV shows, and so on and so forth. So I've been getting into that recently and knowing your purpose for it. Like, let's say the Super Kitties, right? Like
Mhm.
that was it was a TV show that was based off of like Batman. So it's
Yeah.
like Batman, Batman. It's like a spy superhero kind of thing. So
Mhm.
Super Kitties, that's nail on the head. That's
Yeah.
it. That's the one we want. It has to hit the nail on the horn. Like now people are into these reality shows like Love is Blind or something
Mhm.
like that. So I was watching a video on YouTube and this dude was like, have you noticed how corny all of these shows soundtracks are? So
Mhm.
this girl will find out somebody's cheating on him, and then she's just like, I don't think I can go on. And the song says, I don't think I can go on anymore. It's hurting me inside. It's like, wow, that was really nail on the head. This is good.
It's gone from finding a needle drop that fits the emotion to just SEO of like, all right, I'm gonna search the keywords and whatever we get,
Exactly.
we get.
Somebody will just be like, I'm tired. I'm tired of this. I can't go on. Like that kind of music. But like though they're making bank because
Mhm.
like these Netflix shows are actually wanting those kind of SEOs.
Yeah.
So they're making money off it. It's corny, but they're making money.
But for the people that are doing it, they're not making those songs because they care about those songs. They're making those songs for placement so they can fund the
Exactly.
stuff they care about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is there a like a passion project you're currently working on? Is there something that
Mm,
you've been trying to get off the ground?
everything that's on my hard drive right now. No, I tried to go the traditional route of you make beats,
Mhm.
hopefully you get it to an artist, you work with the artist, so on and so forth. I've always been a word of mouth kind of person because I mean, you know me, I
Yeah.
like to talk and interact. So social media has really been one of those I don't know what the hell I'm doing kind of thing.
Yeah.
So especially in marketing, I'm just like, I'll put it out one day. Oh, I only got 10 likes. Okay, I won't keep going. And it's really with marketing, you have to put it out like every day. It has to be in people's face. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, I think they're tired of this. Why would I do this anymore? It's like you kind of have to be arrogant when you're marketing. It's just like,
Mhm.
hey, hey, did you see this? Did you see this? Oh, no, you didn't see. Did you see this? Did you see this? You see it again? Yep, you got it? No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. 2 weeks later, hey, I'm still here. Did you see it? Did you see it?
No, it
That's
has to
really
be
what you have to be.
yeah, 3 posts a day on every channel Every channel needs to be slightly different and you have to do it constantly. There's no breaks. Like it is.
And then I'm at the point to where like after 3 posts in one day, I'm already tired of seeing it. And it's my own stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm sick of this. Like and if I'm sick of it, I know you're sick of it. Like, but but like that's the marketing that I was supposed to do when it comes to making beats in order for me to make
Mhm.
a sale. Um, so I had a website for literally 10 years
Mhm.
that I would never send anybody to. Like there would be a so odd person would find my YouTube video and then they would try to find the beat. So I probably
Yeah.
made like 4 or 5 sales from the website versus making thousands of dollars. So I got to the point to where I was just like, yeah, this is not, I'm not a salesperson kind of thing. So I took it off my site. Um, I know I have a gift for teaching. So
Mhm.
that's why I did my YouTube's videos, and hopefully something will spark from there. But like, really, I'm just trying to get as much music as I create out there. I don't have like a rhyme or a reason. One day it's going to be a pop song. The next day it's
Mhm.
going to be a rock song. The next day it's going to be just me banging out some beats on my machine plus. It's whatever I feel like creating, and I'm just because somebody there's a niche out there for somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for me, that's I have what I call musical ADHD,
Mhm.
where I can't make the same thing every day because I don't listen to the same thing every day. Like
Yeah.
one day I'm listening to Drake, the next day I'm listening to metal, the next day I'm listening to um pop music, and then the next day I'm listening to folk music. It just
Mhm.
depends on what I want to do.
Kind of going back to that self-doubt in creativity. So do you feel like as you're changing things up and trying new things all the time, is there a little bit of that like, hey,
Oh, of course.
I haven't made a song like this before.
Oh my gosh. So when I was in college, the first thing that I would put out on SoundCloud was all folk music. And it was just me banging on the guitar, and whatever record I could come up with my head, that's what came out. So then after college, I started doing rap music, and then the rap music didn't really go so well because I never
Yeah.
put it out as much as I should have. So then it was just now I'm at the point to where it's like, should I go back to the folk music
Mhm.
because some people liked it, or should I go to the pop music because I have some pop records? Like, what should I do? And I'm at the point where now it's just like, I'm just gonna put it out there. If somebody likes it, they like it.
Yeah.
If they don't, they don't. Oh well, I didn't make it for you. I made it because I wanted to make it.
I love that. That's how it should be. Like I know there's this push that everything has to become a commodity. And like, oh, if it didn't sell, if it didn't get 100,000 streams, it's a failure. And
It's
sometimes
not.
just the pursuit of the song itself, the pursuit of, in this case, a conversation, like is enough of a reward that, hey, if people hear it, icing on the cake. Like
Facts. Like, I was watching somebody and they were like, we are so obsessed with getting new people that we forget the 50 people that already like our stuff.
Mhm.
And what we should be doing is improving on the people that already like our stuff versus the people that haven't heard of us before. And
Yeah.
I think that's the ego that we have that says, hey, I'm better than everyone and you guys need to know me.
Mhm.
Like what kind of person am I to say, hey, you've never heard my music, so I'm giving it to you? And it's just like, what if he doesn't want to hear it? Like,
Yeah.
how about I go to my community, my corner of
Mhm.
Legos, and
Yeah.
say, hey, here's my music, and here's some
Mhm.
more music so you guys can have content. And if those are my super fans, 350, oh sorry, 300 people that buy a $10 album, that's $3,000 versus me trying to get 100 1,000 streams, which is the equivalent to 300 people buying a $10 album.
Yeah. I love it. I love when, I can see an episode for whatever reason performs better than others. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Numbers are growing. Cool.
Mhm.
But like, I want the people that are interacting with me. I want it to
Thank
be
you.
a community. I want feedback I don't want them to just listen. The point of the show and some of the episodes I do is to start a conversation. So like when somebody says, "Hey, I really liked when you said this," or "I've never heard something put this way," or most importantly for me, like, "Hey, when you said this, it related to me in a way that I didn't know other people could relate to me."
Right.
Like for me, that's what it's about. It's about building some sort of community, specifically around subjects that I don't think are talked about enough. So like mental health stuff is talked about a lot on
Oh,
this show
Jesus.
because for me, I felt like that was something I had to hide. I was told that me being depressed was because I lacked faith,
I
not
feel like
because
that's the fad now because like everybody's realizing that mental
we're all
health
we're
is
all
real
fucked up.
now. Right. Exactly. And what kills me is like now it's now it's shifting for mental health. I'm glad that you're sticking with the mantra that these are conversations that need to be had and people still need to hear this.
Mhm. Yeah, and it has to be had multiple times by multiple people because everybody's story is different. And
Mm-hmm.
and even though it's different, someone will relate to it. Like there's so many little things that I thought were unique about my life growing up that as my world expanded and as I met new people and as I started reading books about people's experiences, I'm like, oh no, you had the same exact experience I had. This thing that I felt so alone in, like reading your words on this page is like if I wrote it. And there's
Yeah,
something so powerful about that of like this person's memoir might as well be a mirror to me.
exactly.
Like and it makes us feel not alone, but it also makes it easier to confront the things we're struggling with because it
Mm,
takes that isolation out of it.
it's
And
the confirmation, I guess you can
Mhm.
say, that that's reassuring
Yeah.
to other people. Like for me, if I feel bogged up and I feel like I can't create and I feel like there's too much going on in my head, I will pick up the Nintendo Switch to Wusa.
Mhm.
That's my escape. It's not necessarily me getting on and streaming and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm doing." It's literally me putting on headphones, getting the Nintendo Switch, and zoning completely out in order
Yeah.
for me to get back into the world. And you would think it would be music, but nope. Because I hear music 97% of my day.
Yeah.
Either I'm creating it or I'm listening to somebody else's mix or I'm trying to mix somebody else's stuff or
Mhm.
something. So it's like I don't want to be reminded of the thing that's got me down.
Yeah.
I want to zone out. Like I'll pick up the Switch and play Pokemon.
Well,
Cause
the passion is still the work.
yeah.
Like and you always need a break from the work. So there has to be when I'm sure when you were 17, if you were told, "Hey, you'll be making money making music," you'd be like, "Oh, I will do that 24 hours a day," because it's not a reality yet. So once you're actually in it, you're like, "Oh no, I need to disconnect from this. Like
Right.
this has gone from the dream to the duty. This is what I do now." And so there has to be some sort of alternate, and it can feel guilty sometimes because
It
like
can. It
because
can. Seeing as how the world is at a so the world today, and you were fortunate enough to get married at like 19 and have to realize how to get a house and so on and so forth. So you
Mhm.
knew the prices of how it was in that climate. So
Look, I lucked out. We bought
yes,
bottom of the market. We are we are well aware no one our age was in our situation.
good God. So I at that time I was complaining about me not making enough money
Mhm.
when really I had made enough money. I just wasn't wise with how my money was.
Yeah.
And so this is when apartment complexes were like $400-$500.
Yeah.
And today's climate, I make well over what I thought I had made back then.
Yeah.
And apartment complexes are 1,600.
Yep.
Houses are like close to 2,000 for rent. Even buying is like 300, $400,000, and like you have to basically come up with 3%. And I'm just like, okay, all right. Let's get a tiny house.
Yeah.
Cause like, bruh, it's insane. So the fact that me being an entrepreneur and not going to the boss or not sticking it to the man or whatever it is you want to call it, it's scary now.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for about 15 years. It's scary. I kind of want to get to the point to where I'll be like, hey, I might as well pick up a second job. But at the same time, if I pick up the second job, it takes away from the job I currently have. And that's what's scary. It's like I've put myself into I wouldn't say a rut, because it's great. It's awesome. I have the freedom to do whatever I need to do. I can pay all my bills. Everything's great. And we are well sufficient on one salary. So it's great. It's not bad, but at the same time, I'm kind of just like, did I make the right decision? There's always that, did I do this right? Like, did I set my family up for failure, or did I not do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and that's the eternal question. I feel like it doesn't matter what you're doing or how much you make, there will always be that like ping in the back of your mind of like, am I doing the best I can for them? It doesn't like it. I don't think there's ever a point where I'll be like, oh, we made it.
I'll probably do that in joking. Like,
yeah. But it's when there's like 17 cents in the bank account. Then you're like, we're good. We made it.
Shoot, I did that when we got the apartment complex. Like, I got the keys. How much is in the account? 2 cents. Yay, we did it. Look, Mom.
We had one of those when we had our first apartment, like paid rent, and we had like 70 cents in the bank. And we're like, well, the check didn't bounce, so we're good. And it's just, my wife didn't have like direct deposit, so she was like, well, I need to go to my job to get money to pick up my check.
Right.
We didn't have enough gas in the car to get there, so like digging for change. So like, I got $1.20 for gas, so I can make it to the mall to pick up a paycheck.
Bruh, I remember there were times like we had just paid rent, and so we're like, oh, I'm hungry. So let's figure out how to get some gas, and let's figure out how to get some food. So we used to be servers, so we know like how to like take loose change and put it into like a jar. So we would put it in like a jar and like go to the Kroger and just like put it all the way in there.
Hit up Coinstar.
It's like there's like 7 people behind us. Hold on, it's gonna take just a second. I got one more jar. Just putting it all the way in there, and then we pull it right back out, and then we realize we only got like what was like $30-$40, and we're like, yes, food. Hey, baby.
Oh, hey.
This is Janae.
Hey, Janae. I'm Zach. Nice to meet you.
Say nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My daughter likes to make appearances as well, so she will.
Anytime I'm doing a stream, anytime I'm doing anything, like she's coming straight in. Hello, how are you?
Love it. But it's I tell everybody, I'm like, when it comes to kids, it is the absolute best thing that will ever happen to you, and it will change you in so many ways. It's also the absolute worst thing that will ever happen to you, because it will change you in so many ways.
There are things that I've done for this little girl that I never thought I would do.
Yeah. It's a fundamental shift. Like, there is a clear delineation of the person I was before my son was born and the person I am after.
Yeah.
And I can never go back to that other person. There's so many things that changed, and it's not something I have any control over. It was instantaneous of like, oh, everything's different now.
As soon as she got here, I was just like, oh, well, can't be a hoe anymore. All right.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think that's the perfect place to stop.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that sums things up well. That's
That's the name of the episode.
No more trifling.
Yeah.
Dude, it was great catching up. We definitely should not wait 16 years to do this again.
Yes. Yes, we should not. We should not.
Thanks for listening. Give it 5 stars, because my dad is awesome and cool.